So how does that sound to you folks, that those aspects that will be coming?
Great. Fabulous.
Yeah. It may be that one of the Cloth of Creation Monday night calls may be actually held by Joseph. Now, the reason is this is because I have signed up for a course that it's a certified emergency response team training course. And it happens to be that one of those nights would be Cloth of Creation. So that may be happening. And then so Joseph will be hosting the call that evening. And I should say this to you, that none of the work is given to an apprentice to take on him or her own. It is only when that person can handle it that it's given. So that means that when this is given to Joseph, it is because I know it to be so. And I know you will give him the respect. And I know you will give him the respect that you give me. So that's very nice. Okay. So let me ask all of you, ready to breathe?
Yeah.
How many of you have ever done breath work? Any of you? Any kind?
This is Celine. I have.
Okay. And through what modality or practice did you come to know breath work?
I've read a lot of books, and one of them is Barbara Messiniak. She was a channeler, and by some extraterrestrials, they basically said to breathe. Breathing really enlightens you and wakes you up, and then many other people talked about breath work too. And yoga is very big on breath work.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is indeed. How about anyone else? Anyone else do any breath work or know about it?
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit in it with yoga. And I think I took many years ago, I took a all-day long thing on prana. It was called prana. And I think that's the same sort of an idea.
Yeah, I've also done yoga and pranayama before in the past.
Okay. Then, Joseph, you can mute the calls, and as others come in, as they will, and then when we open it up, if anyone has, just mention that for them to say their name and where they're from, and we will get on. Okay, so if you can mute, yeah. Okay, everything muted?
Yep.
Okay. Breathing. We know, obviously, it is what the body requires because the atmosphere on this planet is oxygen. The bodies of this world, not all of them, but some of them, have been designed to take in oxygen to keep the body alive, among other things. What we know is that breathing opens up passageways in the body, the physical body. We know that when we are working in sacred ceremony or sacred work of some type, that the breath can carry intent. And so even in our everyday lives, as we're going through our everyday lives and this normal stuff going on, if we pay attention to how we're breathing in any given moment, it can help to release any stresses. When I ask people, how often do you breathe, beyond the initial grin and kind of strange look I get, it really is relevant. what I'm asking, in fact, is how are you breathing? Are you breathing just from your upper chest? Is it shallow? Is it choppy? Is it not deep? Is it from your belly? Deep and steady, rhythmic, in a rhythmic way? Or is it something that isn't that? When you're having some kind of discomfort in your body, what happens? The body tends to tighten up as though it's defending against that discomfort, that pain. But in fact, when the body tightens up, it holds that pain in place so it can't move. So being conscious of when something is aching or hurting, to consciously relax the body, center, round, and bring your breath through that pain. Breathe through it and breathe it out. What that does is exactly that. It releases it. It opens up all the passageways so nothing is stuck, everything is moving again. When you feel relaxed and you feel good and things are going well and you're feeling happy and content, the body may feel like it's moving fine, its breath is fine, you're breathing fine, nothing, and that is happening. But what happens when those states are not there? That's when being a conscious breather becomes even more important. When I have worked with people in hospitals or in other places where they're being treated for something, the first thing we work with is the breath to help bring down the pain or discomfort level and breathe it away. When they become conscious of that, the pain can completely diminish, and it does. Okay. So when you consciously breathe through your belly, and what we call the cosco or the navel, when we are breathing through the belly, we are breathing like a baby or a child does. If any of you have been around children, you've seen babies, how they breathe. Not only do they breathe through their belly, their whole body breathes. How about any pet that you have? Watch how that one breathes. It breathes through its whole body. Okay? So we're going to do some work here in helping you to bring your breath into your navel or your cosco and to let it expand out through your body. And yes, some of this, you do come to know some of this in yoga. When I have gone to some yoga and seen all that, I knew that a lot of that is exactly what we do with the breath work and other things as well, but breath work. So when we breathe in that way, when we're breathing in our belly, we expand the breath. We consciously feel it filling all the passageways. And the body does what it naturally will do when it breathes in its natural state. It relaxes. It breathes it out. When we are in sacred work, I know that you've heard the word Fukui, the Quechua word. When we Fukui, this is taking our intent in a sacred way and breathing that, using our breath as the vehicle, if you will, to send that message, that offering, that whatever that intent is, to the sacred. When I'm working with someone and we are in a healing or a guidance, I will often say to the person, whatever comes up, breathe it out, because that keeps it moving. There's an old expression that says, when the thieves come into your house to steal your treasures, throw open the doors and the windows. What that means is that when anything comes into yourself, whenever something heavy or something with the lower self doing its old dance of the past and bringing things up, instead of focusing on that, why am I thinking about this? What is this? That happened. Why now? And all of that stuff. Effectively, you're keeping the thieves, because that's what they are, thieves trapped within yourself, your house. The treasures are all that you are. And so if they're permitted to do what they do, then those treasures are given to them to do what they will. So when it said throw open the doors and the windows, it flows through naturally. We can do that with breath. That when you feel all of that coming up, blow it out. And then you can do that anywhere you are. Things start coming up, you can gently, so that it isn't disturbing to anyone else, and it just, a simple breathe out. Simple breathe out. Now when we say breathe out, we don't mean just through the nose. We mean it comes up and through the mouth and the nose. So when you're blowing it out, it is actually the release of it. So let's see. How many of you, and you can open the phones again for a moment, Joseph? Let me know when it's done.
Yep.
Okay, how many of you know to do this? How many of you do this? Have any of you who have done it, what have you found? What happens when you do that?
This is in El Salvador. It's when, like, it's nervousness or any kind of discomfort comes upon me, because I find myself uneasy within my stomach, or I'm breathing really fast or something. When I do take the deep breaths and blow out like that, it's a calming experience. It just brings everything, seems like it brings everything in the perfect irony, I guess, in perfect, in a perfect place. Mm-hmm. So that nervousness leaves and that kind of feeling that's uncomfortable just subsides.
Mhm. Very good. Yes. Anybody else?
Yes. This it sounds the same as Linda was saying. For me, it sort of helps to center me.
Mhm.
And even just the idea of letting, like blowing something away, I think you had mentioned before, also just helps to feel like it's just calming me down a little bit.
Mhm. There is that saying, when things are going on and things are up in a turmoil, take a deep breath. Okay. The next part of that, though, is let it out. When you take the deep breath, let it out then. Don't hold on to it. That's imperative that you do so. When we are in Peru, especially when we're in the mountains, because when we go up to the mountains, our first place in the mountains is at 11,500 feet. Now, for most of us, that's very high. And there's many people who have never been up to height. So we begin some breath work right there, right then and there. The visualization that I give is that you're actually working with your own body. You are enriching your blood with oxygen and letting it flow through all your veins and arteries through your heart. And what people have found to do is that their breathing settles right down. I mean, that's among other things that we do, of course, but that does help a great deal. So anybody else do anything of any kind of breath work?
I do. This is Celine, and I do this weird breath work thing that I learned from this woman. I used to hang out at Transitions in Chicago. It was a bookstore, and they had all kinds of workshops. And I don't know what the thing is called, but you breathe in, and then you're supposed to visualize the breath going up and down, and then when you hold it, you're supposed to breathe in and then hold it double the amount that it took to breathe it out in when you breathe out.
Mm-hmm.
Any sense? And then you breathe it out, and you're supposed to visualize the breath going up around your lip, over your head, all the way down into the bottom of your spine. And then you're supposed to see it expand in your body. And you're supposed to do it 9 times, 3 times a day. And it's supposed to increase prosperity. I have no idea if it works, but I do it. And then when you said last week we were going to talk about breath, I've been also more conscious because I have forgotten about the benefits of it oxygenating your body and your brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When people are in stressful conditions, something's happened and there's turmoil going on, the best thing to do, not only, now you know what I do for myself, I do for the greater good, not because it serves me only, but because it serves us all. And that is to help people to calm down. And they do that through breath. And that is the first, in many different situations where I've been in where there's been that kind of a situation, the first thing that I say to people is breathe. 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 Because that does a couple of things. Not only what we've just been saying, but it also focuses the person out of the turmoil, out of the upset. And by doing that and taking it through the breath, by breathing, it releases that. It clears their head. It clears their emotional body. So things become more intact in a steady way that can help themselves as they help others. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of work here. And when we do, Joseph will mute the calls before we do that. And what we're going to do with this is once you center and ground, before you change anything, before you do anything, just observe your breath where it is. And we're going to take that further, and we're going to expand on that. So what I'm going to ask you to do, Joseph, unless anyone's got something else they'd like to say before we move into this. Anybody before we move on? No? Okay. Then, Joseph, I'm going to ask you to mute the phones one more time.
All right.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask each and all of you to do is to center and ground. Center and ground. Center and ground and observe where your breath is. Don't change it. Just be observant. Do not engage it. Where is your breath? Is it high and choppy in your lungs? Is it soft and steady? Is it in your belly, deep and strong and steady? Do you feel your breath moving throughout your whole body, or only parts of it? Does it feel stronger in some parts and less in others? Observe. Observe this. Being aware of your breath now. Observe it in whatever visual way that you choose. See that breath, perceive it. Gently now, move it into your belly, into your coxsackie. Feel the rise and fall of your belly as your navel, your coxsackie, your center, fills with His life-giving breath. Rest a moment there in your center of stillness, feeling your breath as it swirls and moves and flows. How gentle yet strong it is. Gently widen that swirling orb, that swirling breath. So that it is as though a radiating disk, perhaps that of the Milky Way itself, moving, spinning, gently but strongly, to all parts of your body. Feel it as it reaches a place or places where it does not seem to move any further. Blow that out. Bring that breath right through that place, that area, and blow it out. Feel that as it releases whatever is stuck or heavy or resistant. Not thinking about it, not wondering why. Those things are not important. They are nothing. Letting your breath open and clear that place so the flow continues of the breath. Breathing throughout your whole body, radiating. Feeling that. Blowing it out wherever it seems to not move, not flow as well. So this breath flows throughout your body, your torso, your arms, your hands, your fingers, your legs, your knees, your ankles, your feet and toes, your shoulders, your neck, your back. Through your head, releasing tensions, releasing whatever is there, blowing it out, letting your breath release whatever is there. And not only does it release, it enlivens and enriches every part of you as the breath flows through it, breathing it all out. Taking a moment to rest. In that gentle place of stillness, center of stillness, as your breath is gently, steadily moving, flowing through all of you. Because this is something you can do wherever you are. So wherever you are, your center of stillness, your breathing, as natural as you are. Wherever you are, you can take always a moment to center and ground. Breathe through your center of stillness. And indeed, this does center and ground you in stillness. And in this beautiful, quiet place, I will ask Joseph now to open the phone. So that each and every one of you can see how it is to interact with others in this place of breathing, consciously breathing this center of stillness. So go ahead, open the phones, Joseph.
They are open.
So, how is this, folks?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more centered now than I was.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very relaxed.
And this is where you can do this wherever you are. You know, you could be sitting at your desk at work if that's what you do, and just take a moment. Quiet, center ground, blow through, gently breathe out. It all goes away. Yeah. We're going to take this two steps further. We're going to take this to that breathing, such as I told you when we were in Peru. You can see how even here, at sea level, so to speak, it helps here. And that is, we're going to, from that place of stillness, breathing in the way that you did, but this time, it's going to, where you're going to take your breath through your organs, through the systems of your body. And see how that goes. If anybody has high blood pressure, you do this often enough and you won't have high blood pressure. Whatever, if you have headaches or migraines, prone to those, you do this often enough and you won't. All that goes away. How would that be, folks?
Great.
It'd be nice to lower my cholesterol.
And my blood pressure.
Yeah. How would it be to be able to show other people this? People that you know that
Even
have
greater.
those things. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. My mother was in her 90s, and she was able to do this. So what I'm saying, age doesn't make any difference. If you truly are the vessel of light, and fill whatever it is that is being given in the vessel of light, your higher perceptual primal self, and there's nothing personal in it. The seeds are given, and people will pick them up if they want it. If they don't, that's up to them. There's no attachment to what they will do with it. And breathe that out, too. Because you see, that's part of the training that we have, is that learning, coming to know that whatever you offer to others, it's for them to take or not, with no attachment to whether they do or not. The breath can get caught on that one. So pay attention to that too, folks, that when you're talking with somebody and the conversation is going whatever way it does, and you find your breathing starts changing, where it's starting to get that shallow, choppy kind of business again, blow it out. Somewhere it's gotten personal. Blow it out. Breathe it out. Makes a difference. Nice to be able to go through life without adversarial engagement, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It really does. So we're going to go and we're going to take the breath work further into so that you're breathing through your organs, the systems of your body. And I think there'll be enough time for us to do this, that the third one that we will do is what happens when you do Fukui, when you utilizing your breath as the messenger, the form in which your intent is released. You know, for any of you who saw the email for Cloth of Creation, when I was coming up with a graphic for that, when I saw that one, I said, oh boy, that's perfect. The person sitting in the breath coming out and going through the universe, perfect. That's just what it is. So I'm going to ask you, Joseph, to mute the phones one more time.
All right.
Tell me when you got it.
You can go.
Center and ground. Bringing your breath through your center of stillness, into your center of stillness. Feeling that good, gentle, steady, strong flow of breath as it is moving through you now. And this time, we're going to go a bit deeper now. Let that breath sink in, settle into the muscles of your body, everywhere. There happens to be an ache or a discomfort, pain somewhere, blow that out. Breathe, blow that breath. Breathe through that place. The very muscles themselves relax and rest. Becoming supple, not tight. Moving into the ligament, wherever that is. Feeling everything move, flow gently, steadily. into the bones themselves. Any of you who have arthritis or anything like that, this can help to fill in those gaps. Strengthening, moving, releasing. Feel that, perceive it. The very center of the bones, the marrow, where the blood flows. Enriching that flow with oxygen, life-giving oxygen, and all the components that come with breathing. Let it flow. Letting your toes wiggle, spreading them wide and wiggling them, the fingers wide and wiggling them. Letting your body move as it wants. Letting the breath breathing through the veins and the arteries, opening them up so the blood filled with oxygen as best serves your body, enriching, strengthening, feeding, nourishing any part of your body that perhaps has not been fed as well as it could have been. Letting your breath move through all. Through your heart, gently, steadily, just letting it flow, doing nothing more than letting it just flow through your heart. And into your lungs and your belly, your stomach, spleen, liver, gallbladder, colon, intestine, bladder, kidneys, every organ in your body, thyroid, adrenals, all the systems of the body, through the pituitary, through the brain itself, gently, gently now. Nothing more than letting the flow move, flow through your brain, through your body. Nothing more, nothing more. Just let it flow, just let it flow. Clearing, strengthening, relaxing, resting. Letting your body rest now. Be at peace, yet filled with vitality, pulsing vitality. Knowing that you are ready for whatever it is that you are called in to do when and as you are called in to do it. Take a moment for it to flow further through your body. Merging the flow of the breath, of breathing throughout all of your body. From this very outside the skin, deep into the tissues, the muscles, the bones, the organs, all of the systems. Knowing that gently, steadily, strongly, your breath is clearing, releasing your body from any of its tension. letting your breath be your guide, be your teacher, showing you what it is that can help your body to become stronger and clearer, healthier. Opening your lungs, your heart, your thyroid, your stomach, your intestines, every part of your body. And letting that flow gently become quiet, yet steadily moving, steadily flowing. Now that the flow is happening, return to your center of stillness, watching, observing how the flow is moving now. Centering ground. Those of you can open the phones. Let me know.
All right.
Okay. How are you feeling now, folks?
Good.
Great.
Nice.
What did you discover as your breath moved through your body into your organs and your systems and your bones and your muscles, your brain, all? What did you find out?
Well, it was almost like a domino effect. I would feel something, and then I would just about feel that, and then it would just keep going. So
yeah,
and so I guess kind of like a connection feeling, like the old song, "Oh, this bone's connected to that bone."
And it is.
Yeah,
it is. That's a very good point you just brought, because that's very true. Because one part of the body, when it's feeling out, the rest of the body will feel that way too. And it is the domino effect. More and more the medical community have come to realize that, is that they not to just treat the pain over here and let the rest and not pay attention to the rest. More and more doctors are approaching medicine in a holistic effect, with a holistic approach. We know that. This is why when I'm working with a person might come and say, Fran, I've got a real bad shoulder here. What can we do? I won't often look even at the shoulder. I will look at the energetic body. And in that way, I will see the whole flow, the flow in its entirety. And in that way, when working with the one place where it has become stuck, opens the flow up throughout the whole body. Among other things, I am certified in Shiatsu, and that's just what that does. It works with the meridians. And it works with the breath. So how about all of you? What do you feel now? What did you see? What did you observe in your own bodies?
Well, this is Linda Salvador, and it happens when I do the deep breathing and get centered. I always feel like a energy. It's like a source. It moves my body.
Mm-hmm.
It starts I start movement in my body, like, I might go back and forth or to the side, but it's like something is inside of me that's making me rock. Like it's a movement.
There is something inside of you. It's your breath. You're right about that. You got that. You are
very powerful because it be having me rocking back and forth and to the side, and yes, that's what it does to me.
How did any of you feel when we went into the deeper of the organs and the systems and the bones and the muscles? Anybody?
Well, this is Celine, and right now I feel really happy and sparkly and just fantastic. So thank you. And when you said the organs, I decided to do the brain, my brain, and then I remembered that our skin, our epidermis, or I think that's what it's called, is an organ. So I decided to breathe in. And twice it was weird. I like thought the pituitary, and then all of a sudden you said pituitary. So my little intuition came out a little. And then I thought I'm going to breathe into the brain, and then all of a sudden you said breathe into the brain. And then I decided to breathe into the whole skin that's surrounding my body, and I got the coolest tingly shivers all over, and that was like really cool. So it was an awesome meditation, and then I think I will revisit it often on YouTube. It was great.
Do it. You don't even have to wait to YouTube. You get to do it whenever you want in your own little home.
But your guidance, though, is really neat. In the
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. It was really awesome.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, but you know something, folks? I'm only a guide. That's all I am. I'm only a guide. And you know what part of me being a guide means? Is helping you to realize that you can do what you can do. That's all a guide does. You can do it. Because each and everything that's given in each of the cloth of creation calls and any private work in the workshops or Peru or wherever we are, whatever is given there, you have it now within you. So that means that you get to do this whenever you want. Now, here's the part of that with breathing. How would it be when you're going to bed and you lay in there and you do some breath work? Center and ground. Gently breathe through your center stillness. You will go off to sleep like a baby. Because what you're doing is you're releasing the day. You're moving it out of your body. And I said, spread your toes and wiggle them in your fingers. These are all shiatsu points as well. But they do open the passageways. So to a very large and real extent, you're breathing through your fingers and toes and the spaces in between them. That's why you feel that. When you may know people who, if you have ever looked at their toes, they look like little round-up balls. They're not elongated. It's because they're holding all tensions in within themselves. So pay attention to that. Breathe it. Breathe through your fingers and toes. It feels great. Go ahead and do it right now. Do it right now. And you get to giggle if it feels good. Yeah. 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 You ever watch a cat do a cat stretch? What do they do with their toes? All spread way out, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. So what we're going to do with this, the next piece of this, is that when we're in sacred work and we're utilizing the breath, it can be that we're releasing an intent that spins out to all, everywhere. It's as though the way to perhaps envision this is that your breath is like a breeze that blows on a cloth, and it gently ripples throughout that whole cloth. And indeed, that's what happens. Your breath is that breeze, filled with intent. That cloth is the energetic, thus the cloth of creation. So when that breath blows, breathes, that rippling effect, it's felt everywhere. Whether a person or people are conscious or not, it's felt. How does that sound to you folks?
Wonderful.
Yeah. Another part of this is if you're in a situation where there may be some unpleasantness and you feel like your breath is getting choppy and you're starting to get nervous or panicky or whatever happens, whatever the lower self is doing, when you breathe out, you're actually breathing out an intent of calming down, of bringing everything back into a calm state. Remember, and as odd as it sounds, the only way that can be said, when you make the choice when you make the conscious choice to be conscious, you are affecting everything. And this is why you do affect the environment you're in. So that what that means is that you do have the serious responsibility of not going personal. So if you're in a situation where people are doing whatever they're doing and you find yourself getting that choppy, shallow, tight body feeling, blow it out. Because in that way you can truly perceive through your higher perceptual primal self what it is you are to do and not do. And it can be very often nothing. It's that their dealings, you're not a part of it. It steps away the personal. Whenever in that is the key too, is that when you find yourself going personal, blow it out. Use your breath. Blow it out. A couple of weeks ago, when we were, I had said I was using an example of someone who reads tarot cards and how that person would turn the cards around when they fell reversed. And some of you had said, oops, I do that. And you came to realize what that was when the guidance was given. Okay, what has that got to do with breathing? What has that got to do with tonight? What it has to do with is keeping your intent breathing flowing through you, just as naturally as your breath does. So it doesn't become personal. There's no fear involved. And your breath can help you to release that fear. And to stay solidly, steadily, strongly intact. Whatever the situation you're in. So before we move into the third part of this breath work, anyone want to say anything about any of that? Okay. Have any of you, by the way, did any more tarot readings since that night? Or guidance card or tarot card readings since that night?
This is Selena.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that Susan?
I did too. Yes, hi.
Oh. One of you.
I'm sorry.
No, one of you jump in.
Oh, I was just saying yes, I did, and I remembered, if it falls in reverse to give it just as much credence and be as grateful for that.
Did that make a difference?
Yes, it does.
Mhm. Because remember, it's nothing bad. It's nothing. It's just saying, pay attention. That's all that is. High sacred guidance being given to you. Pay attention, and that's a wonderful thing.
And this is Celine, and I left mine. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I left mine all in the right setup order, so I don't even know why I said I did them. I have some at my desk cards.
So when you did a reading, however they fell, you put them into upright orders?
No, in all the boxes, I have like 40 decks. They're all in upright orders.
No. That's not what so much is saying. Is when you are actually doing a reading.
Well, I just
when actually you're doing a reading, if the cards, if any of the cards fall in a reversed position, to not switch the card into an upright position.
Well, when I shuffle them, I always make sure they're all both facing the same direction.
But that's fine. No, that's fine.
But I'm wasting time because I know you want to go on.
Hold on. No, you're not wasting time. Absolutely, never, ever think that. What's happening is the natural flow. This is all coming.
I've never heard of the cards falling when you're saying.
Okay, let me give it to you this way. When I am guided to use a deck of cards, before they are given to the person, or even if I'm using them for myself, before I give them to them, all the cards in the deck before they are shuffled or given out are all in an upright position. The reason is that because when the cards are given out and the cards for the reading are chosen, if they should fall then into a reverse position, that is pure spiritual guidance that's coming directly from the sacred ones of light to reverse that card. Do you understand that?
Yeah, and now I do. Like sometimes they jump out, and I should not turn it. I should just keep it the way it jumps out.
Exactly, because that is the guidance that you're given. And so the way they fall is the sacred guidance that is contained within that card. And so wherever that falls, it is what it is, and that is the high sacred gift you're being given. And so that's why it's very important. It may be that we, if you would like, is to have one Cloth of Creation call all about this on reading cards and other ways of divination. Would you like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put that on the list, Joseph. Right. We're getting a nice list here. But, yeah, sure. Certainly teachings of how to read cards and other ways of divination is very important. If you truly are going to be stepping in to be a conscious teacher or a conscious reader, this is very good. Sure, we'll put it on. And no, it's not a diversion. It's not a diversion. Everything flows here. So, okay, great. So what we're going to do in a few minutes, in a second or so, we're going to use the phone calls again. But before we do that, this is the third work that we're going to do, and that is using our breath as a vehicle to bring intent forth. And in that way, you can feel how it is by being centered and grounded in your center of stillness and your breath moving in that radiant orb, if you will, moving throughout your body, how that can go forth into spinning out to all others. Okay, Joseph, I'm going to ask you to mute the call one more time.
All right.
Let me know.
You go ahead.
Okay. Center and ground. Bringing your breath through your center of stillness. Letting it flow. Immersing in that flow of your breath as it moves throughout your body, from your cosco, from your navel, into all of your body, from the skin all the way through the marrow of your bones, your nerves, your organs, your adrenals, the lymphatic system, everything, everywhere. Feeling how extraordinary it can be for all of us, for all to come to realize that we are one, that all have free will, yet have no need for the personal, and that we can come together freely, clearly, delightfully, happily, and that we are human, and yet we are not the only life on this planet. There are many forms of life on this planet, life that swims deep in its waters, flies high in its skies, walks and burrows deep on and in its lands, its grounds, everywhere, and that we are one. So forming that intent, just simply that, not because you would have it that way or I would or any one person would, that letting our breath be that invitation, if you will, invitation to remember that we are one. Sending that invitation with no attachment, if wherever it goes, if it is picked up or even acknowledged. Knowing that all will be, all is the light. We are one. Center and ground. Bringing your breath deep into the center stillness within you and forming the intent, this invitation that we are one, the remembrance for those who have forgotten, that we are one with the furred ones and the feathered ones and the scaled ones, the human ones, the water ones, the wind ones, the fire ones, the earth ones, the spirit ones, all life. We are one. Remembering how seriously vital it is that we must come together in the one that we are, for the time is now. Let us together release that intent to our breath, blowing that invitation to all with no attachment other than sending it. And having just done so, feel your breath as it moves, flows steadily, strongly throughout your body. That circle of light, that circle of life, as it does its loop dance. Feel this. Letting your breath feel it, see it, perceive it, even as it is blown forth in its brilliant cascade, scintillating light. Center and ground now, returning to your center of stillness, your breath, being quiet now, flowing, moving, releasing, enriching and enlivening your body. Return now, center and ground into your body, breathing freely and clearly, cleanly now. Be fully in your current body in the time and place that you are. Joseph, you can open the phone. Tell me when.
We are back.
Okay. How about that, folks? Everybody back?
Yes, great. Wonderful.
Anybody else?
I think it cleared my sinuses again. So that was great.
You know, very often in ceremony we rattle and we drum. That is because it vibrates. It raises the vibration. And while we're doing that, we will very often sing or chant or whistle or hum or in some way use breath. And it's for this very reason. It raises the resonance. So there's this. So before we close the cloth of creation for this evening, anyone would like to say anything or add something before we do close? Okay. Remember, you can do this wherever you are, before you sleep, wherever you are, where you feel yourself getting caught in your bodies, your breathing is becoming choppy, just breathe it out. And this is something that you can do every day, perhaps just to help get yourself in a centered and grounded place every day. So we will officially close now. Next week, it will be, what I got for next week is that we will be bringing in about the sacred shields and the sacred wards of light, and what that's about, and why it is something that is essential that you know about and what to do about that. Of course, that may change if authenticity and integrity is to come, or how to do readings. We'll know that next week. And we hope you're all with us. Now, we are going to be having a second call. It may be later in this week for one of the workshops that are coming up. It may be Higher Grounds again, or it may be The Natural Way of Women. We shall see, but you will be notified about that. So we hope you would be with us with that. So I'm going to ask you all to center and ground so that we can close and give thanks for our guidance we've received. So, Psyche, hapon wilke awida kocha, hapon wilke pachamama, hapon wilke mama kila, hapon wilke inti taita, hapon wilke apukunya, hapon wilke punchai, ponchai, lamai, munai. We thank you. You who are the sacred ones of light. Father, Son, Mother Moon, Mother Earth, sacred mountains of light, the light itself, the central love. We thank you all for guiding us and helping us to realize just how strongly and importantly the breath is. We ask that you stay with us as we know that we are our vessels, your vessels of light. We thank you. Perfect love, perfect trust. We thank you. Thank you, folks. Good night.
Thank you, friends.
Good night.
Good night.